Get everybody in here. All right, we got 10 bodies in here.
Already?
That's what it says. Hey, comment when y'all in here, bro. Let us know who's in here.
Weeks.
I got the spaghetti on deck and the Tupperware. That means
Leo.
we looking real good right now.
Zach. Dane. Red. Stilo.
Hey, you see the quarter zip. You see me kind of fun. I got it. My dad got it for me for my birthday. He finally did something right for me. He actually he gave me right.
We got a lot of people in here.
I might have to give me some matcha. I got the quarter zip on. I'm trying to be like Sterling. This Trayvon Gray vibes. I said it's Bobby bitch. Bobby bitch. Bobby bitch. All right, come on, bro. Let's get this bitch started. Come on.
Who you doing talking or what?
You're doing the talking.
No, like I said, this is gonna be a little bit different of a live show than we normally do. Obviously, we do the power rankings majority of all of our lives. This is a new one for us. We're going to talk a lot about the playoff picture. Obviously, it just came out last week, so this is the second rankings. And we're going to break down each team that's currently ranked right now. There's a couple guys that's on the bubble. We're going to break those guys down as well, and kind of talk about their path, their remaining games, and kind of if we see them making the playoffs, and stuff like that. So we can go ahead and get right into it whenever you're ready, Steven. You gonna eat your fucking face the whole time?
Go ahead, bro. You got it.
All right, this is the only one I'm starting off. At number 1, we have Clemson.
Hold up, why is this the only one you're starting off?
Because you're bullshitting. You're eating right now. Anyways, number
I can't
1
eat?
we got. You can eat. At number 1 we got Clemson. Obviously he's the number 1 team in the country. He's undefeated. As y'all can see, he has Syracuse, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and South Carolina remaining. We think that obviously I think he's going to finish the season undefeated. I think that he's going to make the playoffs, probably get a first round bye. 100% for me, for Steven here. I don't think we see a situation where he even falls outside the top 4. Obviously, he has the conference championship game as well, but I think going into the week, if he's number 1, going to the conference championship week, I think a loss even gets him a bye as well. So, yeah.
I don't know if a loss will give me a bye, but
I mean, if you're the number 1 team, they kind of don't punish us that much.
Let's hope that works out that way. Number 2, we got BYU.
You not gonna talk at all?
Oh, I mean, what do you even say? I mean,
you don't gotta talk about yourself, but like,
I agree with everything you said. I mean,
all right.
I don't think I'm gonna lose to a CPU either. I mean, my next tough test is gonna be against Sterling in the conference championship game, but that's like we've done this for like the past 4 years. At this point, we beat a dead horse. At this point, like next topic. All right, BYU.
At number 2, we got BYU.
Damn. Okay, my fault. Go ahead, big fella. I was gonna talk, but now I'm gonna
eat, bro. At number 2, we got BYU. He only has 3 games remaining, but as y'all can see, week 14 he does play USF, which we'll talk about USF a little bit later. He's one of the most dominant users right now. He was ranked number 1 in our last power ranking show, and then he beat Fred after that ranking show as well. So I feel like Savage is probably one of the most dominant users right now. And that last game against USF will determine a lot. I think if you lose that late, it'll probably knock you out of the bye situation. But right now, I kind of think he'll cruise in, finish the season out undefeated. I don't think the USF team is quite ready for Savage yet. But I think he'll finish the season out undefeated. I don't see a world where we obviously don't see. I think he doesn't even play Fred in the conference championship game either if he wins out. So I think we'll be looking at him as a first round buy as well.
Yeah, I think if he were to lose to USF at the end, I still think he can get a top 4 seed because they're both probably going to be undefeated heading into that game. USF probably be like number 6 or 7, 8 maybe. BYU be number 1, 2, or 3, depending on how the game decides to rank them. So let's say he loses to USF, which he's going to go into that game a favorite. But I'm just saying, for conversational purposes, if he loses that game and he falls to 7 or 8, then he goes and wins the conference championship. He's probably going to jump right back into the top 4 anyways. So I don't think that game really means much to Savage. Now, obviously, he doesn't want to lose, but I think USF is more of a coming out party for him if he's able to beat BYU. Then we're talking about him possibly getting a top 4 seed because right now he's like number 11, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So if he's able to beat number 2, he'll probably jump up to 5 or 6. Then you win the conference championship and you're in the top 4 in his debut. So that's going to be a big game.
Yeah. Number 3, we got Kentucky. I think he's kind of probably caught a lot of people off by surprise, being one of the top 3 teams in the country. His path to the conference championship game it's wishy-washy in the SEC because the only user that played Alabama was Vanderbilt. And he lost that game off a Hail Mary. So there's like 5 teams in the SEC that's undefeated right now. And we don't know who's going to get the tiebreakers. So right now, his path to the SEC title game is clear. He only has 3 SEC games left. He won't lose any of those. If he even we might not even see him in the SEC championship game. Like I said, there's 4 or 5 teams undefeated still. And I think he's kind of setting himself up for a bye, especially if he doesn't have to play in the conference championship game. And his team's playing hot enough right now where he can go on and win the SEC. Especially with one of the matchups that we have no clue right now. And then we're only like 4 weeks out. So,
kind of want to speak on this for a second. I know this has been like a narrative. Kentucky has the same situation as Notre Dame. We can only schedule so many games. That Louisville game is locked, and the SEC plays a 9-conference schedule. So when the SEC plays nine games in conference, that leaves 3 games out of conference that I'm able to work with. Louisville took that game away, so it doesn't let me touch the Louisville game at all, which in turn only left 2 games to work with. So
we play an 8-game schedule, but you still can't touch that one because it's the same with me with Georgia Tech. But I did play 3 other out of conference games,
and I don't remember who you had him supposed to play. If it was somebody that I couldn't touch before, but there's obviously a reason why that fell that way. And he benefited from it. He's winning the games he's supposed to. So that's just what it comes down to. Yeah, all right, I'm going first. I'm going first on this one. All right, Virginia Tech. Obviously Sterling 7-1, 4-0. Favorable schedule to finish out the season. Also, that game at Virginia is no knock though. I think when in capital letters when Ajmi can play smart football and actually try to win, I think he's a tough out. It is on the road. At Virginia. Now, Virginia is not going to be a crazy environment, but it is on the road. I think Virginia Tech is going to be 10-1 heading into that game. He'll be undefeated in conference at that point. So I do think that he will be, he said, how is Pelf not number 3? This is what these rankings are the game.
At the situation where you have I had double bye weeks and I was like number 5, and then after the bye weeks ended, I was like number 9, and then I won another game and it shot me back up to number 6 because 4 teams in front of me had a bye last week. So the
wait.
Bye weeks hurt.
These are not our rankings, by the way. This is what the game has us on.
Yeah.
We didn't come up with these rankings. These rankings are what the game has us. Yeah. We didn't come up with rankings this week. We're just going based off the game. So maybe that's caused some confusion too. But I expect to play Sterling in the conference championship. And I think we're just going over the rankings.
The playoff picture, like how the CFP dropped their rankings. Like we can't at this point. A power rankings for us does no good. This is for the playoffs. So we're going off how the playoff picture has. If the playoff picture has you at 10, and we think you're the best user in the league, I mean, there's nothing we can do for you. Are you the 3rd best user or higher? Yes, but Kentucky's at 3, my boy.
Yeah. So I expect to play Sterling in the conference championship for the 4th straight year. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, like you said, Sterling, I think he's kind of cruises. I don't think that Virginia team is ready for Virginia Tech. Even if he does play a little bit smart football, because just the way he plays, Ajami's smart game is necessarily just um, pushing the ball down the field as fast as he can and not throwing an interception. I don't think his smart part of the game is winning late. I don't think that he has that in his arsenal right now. Is with the way he's been playing. Smart football for Ajami is just not turning the ball over, and I don't think that'll be able to beat Sterling. You can go have a perfect game against him, but he's going to be able to manage the game, whether it's like a drive right before halftime, a late drive in the fourth quarter that kind of just takes the clock right out of it. So even if he does play his best football, I do not think that'll be enough to beat Virginia Tech, and I think we'll probably get a Clemson Virginia Tech matchup again because Stanford is undefeated in conference, and we don't know how a tiebreaker or nothing like that will work. So we'll see. Actually, they're not undefeated. They just lost to Virginia
Yeah, I
last
was about
week,
to
so
say.
it'll be
That's why I made
Virginia
that
Tech
face.
versus yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, at number 5, we have Ohio State.
The bum ass Buckeyes.
He only has 2 games left. So again, I think you can even see Ohio State dropping back a little bit more. These bye weeks at the end of the season are kind of hurting people, and the fact that he only has 2 games left, and I play a ranked Texas A&M next week, and I have 3 of the LSU's and Texas I think coming up. You can see a Georgia jumping Ohio State just because he has a bunch of bye weeks. And that going to hurt people in these. That's going to hurt people in these rankings because bye weeks later hurt people, so we can see a lot of movement in the polls. But yeah, I think he kind of cruises. He finished undefeated in conference, goes and plays in the conference championship game, and I think whoever sees him in the conference championship game is going to be a heavy underdog. So I think if the game doesn't screw him up too much, he will have a conference bye in the first round.
Yeah. I think he'll beat both of these CPU games. Like I said before, I think when you get to a certain point with your team, in seasons, it's kind of hard to struggle against a CPU. So I don't think he'll have any issues there. Don't really know how the Big Ten Conference Championship standings look right now. I know Minnesota and Northwestern are about to play. In a very big game this week. I'm not sure where Notre Dame is lined up right now. I haven't looked at those standings. But I expect Ohio State to get a top 4 seed. I mean, it's kind of been a staple in BYL at this point that David's going to get a top 4 seed. He got lucky getting a good team. That's just what it comes down to. I'm just playing, bro. I'm just playing. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see him in the top 4 regardless.
Yeah, I'll let you keep going. You can talk about yourself.
All right. Bum ass Georgia Bulldogs. No, I'm playing. All CPUs, obviously. This is a different CPU schedule than what everybody else is playing. Now it's still the same thing to me. Put Clemson. No, don't worry, David. You coming to Death Valley next year? We already got that lined up. You coming to Death Valley? Last time you came to Death Valley, we saw what happened. Shout out to old Ronan Hannafin. Hail Mary to beat your ass. But this is obviously a different CPU schedule than what I'm playing, what David's playing, what the other guys are playing. When you got to go on the road to LSU and then you play a 99 overall Tennessee, and a second home my ass, and then you're playing A&M. But again, it's kind of hard to struggle when we have 99 overall teams at this point in the season. So I'm just kind of be interesting to see who gets those final or those top 4 spots, because you have a team like USF who, if he wins out, he could get it. BYU wins out, he can get it. If Georgia wins out, he could get it. Ohio State and me. So there's 5 teams. Obviously, USF and BYU play each other, so they're going to knock each other off. But then you have somebody like Kentucky where if he gets into the top 4 and doesn't even have to play in the conference championship, and stuff like that, then what does the game do? So that's where it kind of gets tricky.
Yeah, I played Texas A&M. Speak on the undefeated stuff. I played Texas A&M this week. They're undefeated in conference, so they'll knock one out right then. But there's 6 undefeated teams in the SEC, and depending on how these tiebreakers go, you can see a Georgia not even make the conference championship game. That'd be pretty fucking crazy. But I mean, there's 6 of us undefeated right now, and a lot of us don't play each other. Obviously, I play Texas A&M, so that'll give them 1 loss, but that leaves 5 more people. And there you'll see later on there is a matchup in the SEC, and that has a lot of weight on it. At number 7, we have UNLV. I don't think He has a path to the conference championship game because he did play BYU and lost that game. So I think I don't see a situation where North Texas loses a CPU, especially in the Big 12. I haven't really seen many people struggle with the CPUs in the Big 12. So I think he kind of finishes out. He does have 4 games left, so we could see a situation where people kind of racing to kind of steal that 5th seed. We could see a situation where he gets there, but it could be later on. You'll see that 12 team could be a very dangerous team. It's not like how it was last year, where it was like a CPU or anything like that. The 12th spot this year could really be a dangerous team.
Yeah, Fred's gonna make the playoffs. I think of he needs to win this week at Iowa State. This is my survivor pool pick, but if he beats Iowa State, I think he's just as much of a lock as number 1, 2, and 3 is, because he's sitting 5 spots comfortable right now, and if he wins out, he doesn't have to play in the conference championship game, so he's going to be somewhere between 4 and 7, and that's a good spot to be when you know that there's nothing that can go wrong for you to not get in. So I think Fred's in a good spot. He just has to take care of business this week against Iowa State. Now, if he loses Iowa State this week, he's going to fall at about 15. So then at that point, you're playing catch up, trying to get the last spot. So he really cannot afford to lose this week.
Yeah, I agree. All right, this is where it starts to get a little tricky at. As y'all can see, Southern Miss is sitting at 8-2. And that last game of the season right there is against Florida, who is obviously undefeated as well. He's sitting at I think 13. And if you lose this late in the season, I think your chances are done. But depending on where they're at the time, if we're talking about like an 8-9 matchup, maybe the loser is safe. But losing late, we've seen people lose late in the regular season. It kind of punishes them. We haven't seen people kind of get punished that much for losing the conference championship game. So I think that last game of the season has a lot of weight on it, especially giving you the edge to kind of see if you can't get like a fucking tiebreaker or whatever for the SEC championship game. And obviously, we're all playing to get into the playoffs. I think that last game of the season has a lot of weight on it to even get in the playoffs. I could see a world where Trill doesn't make the playoffs, but also could see a world where if he wins against Florida, he's automatically into the playoffs. But if you lose that Florida game, you're praying, because that's the last game of the season. And obviously, whoever loses that game will not make the conference championship game. Therefore, you won't have a chance to jump up into the polls. So yeah, I mean, we could see a situation like that.
Yeah, is this game in the Swamp or is it in Southern Miss?
It's at Southern Miss.
Yeah, I think that helps him a lot. I think if it was at Florida, it'd be a way tougher task. Obviously, very tough environment to play in. Excuse me. So I think that helps him a lot. I assume this game is going to be the college game day game, especially if the season finishes out the way we think it's going to finish, even if it's a doubleheader with the BYU USF or whatever the case may be. This is going to be a big game, but I agree with everything you said. I'm going to start this one off.
Week 13 and BYU plays week 14, so it ain't the last game of the season, but even then, having a bye after a loss will hurt you a lot more.
Gotcha. So this is where it kind of gets fun. Red is obviously sitting at number 10 right now. He controls his own destiny. The game versus Minnesota is going to be big. I think if he's able to beat Minnesota, he'll probably jump up a few spots. But then you have to win out at this point. You can't bank on getting in with 3 losses. So you're going to have to win out. You play three of your last 4 games are against users. So you don't have the same luxury as me or Georgia or Ohio State, where you could just play CPUs and kind of just, cruise into a playoff spot. You're going to have to earn it. And we know how Temple can get. We obviously know that he's a playoff user, a national championship user. So I think this is a big challenge for Red. But I like the position he's put himself in. This game this week against against Leo is going to be very telling to see how the conference standings shake out. Both users want this one bad, and I think this game is big for both of them as far as their BYL career as a whole, in my opinion, because we haven't got to Minnesota yet, but Minnesota has a very, very favorable schedule compared to Red. If Minnesota wins this game, Minnesota will be in the playoffs. I just want to make sure everybody is understanding that. I predict he will be in the playoffs. Leo will make the playoffs if he wins this game. His entire season is on the line in this game. I think if Red loses this game, he could still make the playoffs because he may fall back to 16, 17, but then you turn around and beat Temple next week. You jump right back up to 12 or 13, and you got two less than ideal opponents compared to who you just played on your schedule. So I'm excited to see how this game goes. This is a big, big game for BYL. Shout out to Red, man. Top 10 team, man.
Yeah, I'm be a little bit different than you. I think if you lose this game, it's over with, to be honest with you, because there's somebody that we haven't got to yet that's going to prevent people like a Red hopping back up in there. But I think this is the biggest game for Leo and Red. I think if you lose this game, I think the rest of y'all, every one of y'all's game from this point on is a playoff game. If you lose, you're gone. He already has 2 losses. This will make his 3rd loss. I think if he loses this game, it'll drop him back a little too far. But yeah, I think the chances now his team is almost ready. He's playing a really good ball. I think he has like an 89 overall team or something like that. I don't see a world where we see a Red Smith in the playoffs this year because I think you're going to be on the bubble like around 11 or 12. Maybe if he wins this game and wins out, obviously he'll be like what 7 or 8. Then I think if you lose to Ohio State, you'll get in. But this schedule is very hard to manage. I think playing on the road at Temple, we've seen Temple sitting at 5-3 right now, but I don't see a world where I'll be very surprised. I don't say there's not going to be a world. I don't see a world. I'd be very surprised if he beats Temple on the road. So I think his playoff hopes. He has every game is a playoff game for Red, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, number 11, we have USF. Obviously, we spoke about him already. He's in a situation where I think if he can win the next 2 games, he is probably in the playoffs. He just has to win the next 2. I don't think if he loses to BYU, it really does anything for him because he still gets a chance to play in the conference championship, which would then, in turn, if he wins that game, he should be a top 5 conference championship rank-wise. So really, the next 2 games are going to be big for him. The Mike Jones game can be tricky. I think people are sleeping on that game. Mike Jones can be very, very tricky. He's an annoying user to play against. When he's on his A game, I played him a few times. Obviously, he had South Carolina before he went to Texas Tech, so I know the type of offense he likes to run. He has a better team than USF does, so he has the advantage there. So I'm excited to see that game. That's going to be a big game. And then obviously the BYU matchup, we already spoke about that, so that's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, I think for USF, I think he kind of finished the season out pretty strong. I think he does lose that BYU game. And the only when it comes to being in a tricky situation is the fact that we have La Tech, Louisiana, and Fresno State. All 3 of those teams are in the Mountain West, and if he loses to BYU and it kind of sets him back a little bit, we have those CPUs obviously competing for that last auto bid. I think we'd probably see USF get the edge, but the problem is if you lose in week 14 and you got a fucking La Tech that's sitting at 14 and they're going to play another ranked Louisiana or Fresno State, you really don't have a lot of room for error because we've seen when you lose late, it hurts you. And if this La Tech team finds a way to go undefeated and you lose to BYU at the last game of the season, La Tech will jump you. They're only like 3 spots behind you. And if you lose, they're going to jump you. And then obviously, I have you winning the Pac-12 championship, but I also have La Tech win the Pac-12 championship as well. So that's going to be a tricky situation to be in at the last game of the season.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, this is where we start the bubble teams, the teams that haven't obviously they're not currently in the playoffs. We have number 13, Willie, who sits 1 spot out, first team out. He has Arkansas, Southern Miss, and Florida State to end the season. That Southern Miss game is very tricky. If you lose that game, I think your season is pretty much over with. It's a playoff game for Willie at this point. Everybody in the bubble, obviously, it's a playoff game moving forward. I think that the Southern Miss atmosphere is not as like you playing in the swamp, so I feel like playing on the road is going to hurt you too much. But Southern Miss is going to try to control the clock, going to control the game, control the ground game as well. So I think Willie can pull it off. But this is a tough situation to kind of be in. And it mainly becomes just because Florida was such a shit team last year. I think they had 3 wins, so he was playing a bunch of catch up. to kind of get back into the rankings because he has been like I would say top three most dominant user this season. He has one loss and it's a close game to Fred, and he's wiped the table, had big wins after that. So, yeah, I think your chances for failure here, error is slim. You can't lose one game, and then obviously a situation where you kind of hope not to play in the SEC championship game because we have seen people get eliminated from the playoffs at 11 and 12. We haven't seen them get eliminated at 9 or 8. And I don't think even with a win against Southern Miss, I don't think we will see you in that top 10ish range because I don't think anybody ahead of you is going to lose, other than maybe a Northwestern. But he kind of controls his own destiny.
Yeah, I think out of all the users, I think Willie's in the most like stickiest spot because he has to win out if he wants a chance to get in. You can't lose this other miss because if you lose this other miss, you're going to fall back to 15, 16. But then even if he wins out, you play against a tough opponent in the conference championship and you're sitting at 9 or 10, you got to win that game too. You're not in. So it's kind of like a bad situation to be in, especially if you're talking about an 11-1 team. I think it's kind of corny, to be honest, but I mean, it is what it is. I think it's just how the game was made. But I mean, I'm saying now, I think if he's 11-1 and loses in the conference championship and doesn't get in, that would be crazy. But I mean, that's just how the game was
obviously, we
made.
didn't talk about the CPU teams. Obviously, I think Alabama finished the season out with one loss. They play a bunch of CPUs, and they're really good. They're most dominant, and they're a 96 overall team. That really helps you whenever you're a CPU and you're in the sim. Texas A&M is like a fucking 70 overall. I don't think Alabama loses any more games. That's going to be a hard team to compete with. But Stanford plays Notre Dame at the end of the season. I think they're going to lose. They're not. They're a high overall team. They're probably going to play like an Oregon does. I don't know. I haven't played them. So hopefully Notre Dame can get the job done. And I think Northwestern loses another game. I think he's not quite ready for the playoffs yet. I think if he wins out, obviously that's a problem. That's another issue. But I think he will drop one game. So I think we probably will see Willie make the playoffs and hang around that 8 or 9 spot. Now that I'm looking at it, but yeah, it's a sticky situation to be in.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, at number 15 we have North Texas, and this is by far the worst situation you can be in. We've seen North Texas get eliminated last year out of the playing in the conference championship game, and it's going to be the exact same way this year. If you do not win your conference championship game, you will not make the playoffs, and that's just a sorry situation to be in because you're getting punished for playing an extra game. But you kind of hope it would be Fred in this situation. I know they was arguing about that at the beginning of the season, not playing each other, not getting a chance to kind of earn your way to the conference championship game. He's going to play in it. I don't think he loses another CPU game. And he might be hanging around the 12, 13 range. And if he loses, he's out. He has a CPU slate. I think he finished the season out winning those 3 games, but I don't see him beating Savage. So I don't see a world where we see a North Texas in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, another tricky spot because you'll be around 11, 12, 13, and you got to win to get in. And even if you win, you still ain't getting the top 4 seed. So it's like it kind of sucks, to be honest, but that's just the way it worked out. All right, final team, we got Minnesota and Coach Leo DeGucci. Like I said, he has a more favorable schedule than Minnesota does because he didn't have to play Temple. He gets an extra CPU game. They obviously both play Illinois, so Dane can play spoiler for either one of those guys if Dane's able to knock either one of them off. Same thing I'm going to say with Leo, though. If Leo is able to beat Northwestern, I think Leo is going to beat both CPU, and then it comes down to Leo Dane. And if not, I think Leo can get in the playoffs. Now, it's the same situation, though, because if he's hanging around 11 and 12, then he has to go play Ohio State in the conference championship, and he loses, then he's out. So kind of sucks, obviously, in the same situation as North Texas, literally same exact situation. But that's just the way the cookie crumbled, and there's nothing really that I think Leo did wrong. Obviously, he has one loss, but being 7-1 and 4-0 through 12 weeks in football is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I agree. It's not really the best situation for him. He didn't have the greatest season last year, as what it comes down to it. If these guys finish the season out really strong, they'll start the season out where a loss or two will not hurt you. I think we've seen a couple of people with 3 losses and they still ranked inside the top 12. So if you don't make the playoffs this season, you're going to start off well.
He's right for you.
Thank you, Connor.
If you
Yeah, we'll go in there real quick. And then obviously, I think if y'all remember the year that Northwestern knocked off Tennessee and kind of ruined the survival pool, that very next week I made Northwestern and Minnesota the game of the week, and everybody voted Northwestern. And Leo came in there and just handled business. I think he won that game by 2 or 3 scores. This is kind of the same situation. Both these guys know they have nothing to play lose. We have a lot to lose, I mean, and there's no room for error. Both of these guys are going to be coming to play a lot of their best brand of football, and it's easier for Northwestern. I mean, not Northwestern, Minnesota. If he wins this game, I think, like you said, he beats both CPUs, and I think he has a lot of momentum to go in there and beat Dane. No offense to Dane, but I mean, he's just down right now. Every time he loses to the CPU, he's over the game. And if Dane can somehow finish out his playoff or his CPU guys and wins out, maybe he'll have a lot of confidence and kind of want to play that spoiler.
Say hi.
Obviously, the CPU probably gives Dane more hard times than a user does. But I don't see a world where Minnesota makes the playoffs, because if he does win out for some odd reason or whatever happens, if he wins out, Ohio State's going to beat him. I don't think he's ready for Ohio State, and I think Leo's just out of the playoff picture altogether. So you can't lose a game, even that Ohio State game. You won't be able to lose it. So I think he has a lot to play for. Obviously, it's going to be a great season. I just don't think he's a playoff caliber team at this moment.
All right, that's all the bubble teams there. Was there anything else we're covering?
No, I mean, unless you want to say something else.
No, that was it.
I kind of want to keep the live show around like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, that's gonna wrap it up now. Wrap it up now. All right, y'all. We'll be back next Sunday. That was the CFP ranking show. By next Sunday, we should be damn near heading into the playoffs. We might be on conference championship week, right around, if not, because we're.
I'll talk a little bit about Justin. He is at number 20. I didn't put you on there because I just don't see a world where you even have a chance to make the playoffs. You need so much to happen. Even if you beat Northwestern, there's so much that has to happen in front of you. He is 5-3 at number 20.
Who does he have left on the schedule?
Wisconsin, number 10 Northwestern, Florida State, and UCLA.
How many losses does he have in conference?
1.
It's not impossible, but
I think it's impossible. But I mean, hopefully you make a run. I think that USC loss hurt you. If you beat USC, I think we're obviously talking about a different Justin here. But it's very hard to come back from where the situation that you're at now. You have a lot of people ranked ahead of you that probably won't lose many. It's tough. It's tough for you.
I agree. All right, fellas. Well, we'll see y'all next week. Like I said, we'll be heading into the conference championship. We might do like a parlay type deal around that time.
And I didn't mean I had them both winning the Pac-12. I meant to say Mountain West because there's 3 CPUs that are ranked inside the top 20 that are all in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.